Sea lions, like us humans, have got two forward-facing eyes. Binocular vision allows them to judge distance and speed, and it makes them good at things like this. It took him a while to get good at catching the hoops. At first he tried catching them in his mouth because that's where the fish goes. They would bounce off his nose, they'd end up on the floor in the pool. But not anymore, he's really good at this, and all the training is down to practice, and it's down to positive reinforcement. Now his catching skills are fantastic, he doesn't need to practice. His trainer can't throw for toffee on occasions, it's me that needs the practice, but if he gets this one, a big round of applause. Well caught, Merlin. Very good. Now positive reinforcement, that's me rewarding him with a piece of fish or squid or eel or octopus, any form of food, can be one method of encouragement. But fish doesn't always work in summer. They lose their appetite at this time of the year. They eat a lot in winter, and if he refuses to eat a fish in winter, I'm always concerned. But at this time of the year, they often go for several days without eating a single fish. But that's no concern, because in the wild, a sea lion like this, in summertime, in their breeding season, will stay out of water and go without food for up to 8 weeks, surviving on a fat layer, a blubber layer that they build up over winter. So they have to eat a lot in winter to build up a layer of fat or blubber, which is underneath this outer coat, which is fur. Underneath that fur, there's a thick layer of skin. Then they have this thick layer of fat or blubber, which is like an energy store. And that's what they survive on when they stay on the beach to mate. Now, they don't have to be wet, they don't have to be in water. People often assume they have to be wet all the time. It's not the case. They actually spend most of their life on land because they're safe on land. In the ocean, they're attacked by sharks and killer whales. They've got to get in the ocean to catch fish, but the best way to survive if you're a sea lion like this in the wild is to get in the water, catch fish, and get out again. And that's what they do. Now, we're going to make the hoop catching a bit harder for Merlin this time. We're going to flip them. When we flip them, he's got to adjust his head at the last second to make the catch. Now, sometimes he misses the odd hoop, but generally speaking, it's my fault if he does, because his reactions are fantastic, his eye and muscle coordination very good. For some reason, he always has to look over his shoulder every time to check he's caught the hoop. We don't really know why, because it's just gone over his head, but watch, there's always a little glance, just to make certain he's caught it. He usually has, if he gets this, a big clap. Well done! All 5 hoops over that head. Merlin, I can't fault your catching, well done. Now, we call them sea lions, these animals, despite the fact they've got very little in common with lions. It's because the males develop a slight mane around the neck. Most of the body, apart from the flippers, which are just covered by tough skin, is covered by a fur coat. When they're wet, the fur sticks tight to them to make them more streamlined in the water. As they dry off, they go all fluffy. Around the neck, the males develop a very, very slight mane, which is more prominent with other species than it is with the California sea lions that we have here. But that's where the similarity with lions ends. They're very similar to dogs, quite closely related to bears and otters too. Now, we have to check his teeth daily. So we've trained him to open his mouth when we touch him on the chin. He's often got his mouth open anyway, but whenever I touch him on the chin with my index finger, he opens his mouth every time, like that. Don't you? Say ah, lovely. He also blows his nose on command. If I touch him on the nose, he does that. Lovely, yes, he blows his nose. Isn't that revolting? There is a reason we train them to do that, by the way. It is disgusting, but we have to take a mucus sample from the animals from time to time, because they can suffer from infections in the nose and throat, which can be quite serious. If you teach them to do that, you can collect what comes out on a sample dish, and you can send that to the lab to be analysed. If there are any nasty bugs or bacteria in there, you can treat them with the right medication. Now, he's going to show you a backward flip. He loves doing this. He's looking for Marvin and Miguel now. They can't see you. He likes doing this in front of the other sea lions because they're rubbish at it. They all compete. They are quite competitive all the time, but in summer they're even more so. But Merlin, we want to see a backflip, so you guys watch the middle of the pool. Whatever you do, don't blink. He's going to go looping head over tail. This shows you the flexibility they have in the spine. You wait over there. Yes, they've got a very flexible body. Their ability to twist and turn is incredible, as you're about to see. Merlin, go for it. Here he comes, looping through the air with a lovely backflip. A good demonstration. Well done. Well done to you. Very good, that, Merlin. In fact, do it one more time for us. There is a big herring, because that was pretty good. Let's see an action replay. One more time. Now, it took him a while to get so good at this. A lot of practice involved, but he's now, without a doubt, the best at doing the backflip here. One more time. Can he jump a bit higher? Can you do it a bit faster? A big cheer if he does. Go! It was indeed. Now there's one exercise that we try to train our sea lions to do here, which is just really for fun, but it keeps them occupied for ages. Part of our job here involves just giving them something to do all the time. If you leave them to just swim around all day, throw them fish now and again, they tend to get bored. In the wild, they don't tend to get bored because they've got to find, chase, catch enough fish to survive and thrive. They've got to avoid sharks and killer whales while they do so. They've got to defend territory on the beach. All this activity keeps the brain active. But in a zoo or a park like this, they don't have to worry about any of that stuff. None of ours ever have had to worry about that stuff. So we just give them other things to do instead. Now you saw him catching the hooves.